What if I told you an Amish bride wakes up the morning after her wedding in her husband's family home? Her mother-in-law is already in the kitchen. The lessons start immediately. Here is what actually happens from wedding day to first winter. Week 1. The first 7 days establish a kitchen workflow. An Amish bride does not move into an empty house. She moves into her mother-in-law's household or into a dowdy house attached to the main farmhouse. Her mother-in-law owns that kitchen. Breakfast happens at 5:30 a.m., lunch at noon, supper at 5 p.m. The new wife watches where utensils belong, which burner gets used for coffee, how much wood goes into the cook stove. She does not rearrange anything. She learns the existing system first. First breakfast. The morning after the wedding reveals expectations. The mother-in-law wakes first. She starts the fire in the cook stove. The new bride hears movement downstairs and comes to help. This first breakfast matters. The mother-in-law watches how she cracks eggs, whether she knows when bacon is done without burning, if she can flip pancakes without breaking them. An Amish breakfast for a farming family means 8 to 12 pancakes, a dozen eggs, a pound of bacon, fried potatoes, fresh bread with butter and jam, coffee and a percolator. Everything ready by 5:30 when men come in from morning barn chores. The new wife who can execute this breakfast earns immediate respect. The one who struggles gets patient instruction but lower initial standing. Laundry day. Monday morning is laundry day in most Amish households. The mother-in-law demonstrates the system once. After that, the daughter-in-law owns the task. Washing begins at 6 a.m. Clothes get sorted into whites, colors, and work clothes. Water heats in a gas-powered wringer washer or on the cook stove for hand washing. Each load takes 15 minutes of agitation. Clothes run through the wringer twice. Rinse water sits in a separate tub. Heavy items like pants and dresses require 2 people to wring properly. The clothesline has an order. Shirts hang together. Dresses together, pants together, towels at the end. Clothes stay on the line until completely dry. In winter, frozen laundry comes inside stiff and finishes drying on racks near the stove. A new wife who finishes laundry by 2 p.m. meets the standard. One who takes until supper time needs correction. First church. Amish church services rotate between households every 2 weeks. Within the first month of marriage, the young couple's household will host church. This means preparing for 150 to 200 people. The mother-in-law walks the new wife through the process. The house gets cleaned top to bottom on Saturday. Benches arrive Saturday afternoon. Men set them up in rows through the living room, kitchen, and any adjoining rooms. Women prepare food, church peanut butter spread, pickles, cheese, bread, red beets, coffee. The actual hosting happens Sunday after the 3-hour service. Women serve the meal in shifts. Married men eat first, then married women, then young people. The mother-in-law observes how her daughter-in-law moves through the crowd, whether she refills coffee without being asked, if she notices when pickle jars run low, how she interacts with older women in the district. This single event reveals social competence. A new wife who hosts well earns community approval. One who appears overwhelmed gets noted by every woman present. Canning season. Summer brings the canning season. An Amish household puts up 300 to 500 quarts of food between June and September. Green beans, tomatoes, corn, peaches, applesauce, pickles, salsa. The mother-in-law sets the standards. Jars must be spotless. Lids must seal properly. Processing times must be exact. A new wife learns which foods get pressure canned versus water bath canned. Green beans require a pressure canner at 10 pounds of pressure for 25 minutes. Tomatoes can use a water bath if acid gets added. Peaches need light syrup at a specific ratio. The work happens in bulk. 60 quarts of green beans in one day, 80 quarts of tomato juice the next week, 40 quarts of applesauce after that. The mother-in-law judges speed and quality. A skilled daughter-in-law keeps pace and produces clean jars with proper headspace and tight seals. A slower one falls behind and creates extra work. By September, the cellar shelves reveal competence. Rows of identical jars with neat labels show mastery. Mixed jar sizes with uneven fill levels show someone still learning. The mother-in-law checks those shelves. So do visiting neighbors.
Garden transition. The vegetable garden transfers from mother-in-law to daughter-in-law during the first growing season. Most Amish households maintain a garden that covers 1/4 to 1/2 acre. The mother-in-law plants the garden in May. She shows the new wife where each crop goes. Tomatoes in the south corner where sun hits hardest. Lettuce and spinach in partial shade. Beans along the fence line. Potatoes in raised rows. Corn at the north end. By June, the daughter-in-law takes over daily maintenance. Weeding happens 3 times per week. Watering during dry spells. Checking for pests. Harvesting at peak ripeness. The mother-in-law walks through the garden twice a week. She notices weeds in the bean rows, whether tomatoes got staked properly, if cucumbers were picked before growing too large. She says little but observes everything. A well-maintained garden produces food for the table and surplus for canning. Tomatoes yield 150 pounds. Beans produce enough for fresh eating and 60 quarts canned. Corn gives 90 ears every 3 days at peak season. The daughter-in-law who keeps the garden productive and weed-free earns autonomy. One who lets weeds take over or fails to harvest on time gets direct intervention. The garden becomes the visible test of household management capability. Budget reality. The first month of marriage includes the first household budget conversation. Most young Amish couples receive money from family as wedding gifts. Amounts range from $2,000 to $8,000, depending on community wealth. The mother-in-law explains how money moves in an Amish household. Grocery budget runs $400 to $600 per month for a family of 2. Fabric and sewing supplies cost $50 monthly. Propane for cooking and lighting averages $80. Household supplies like soap and cleaning products add another $40. Medical expenses go into a separate fund since Amish do not carry insurance. Every purchase gets tracked in a ledger. The mother-in-law shows the daughter-in-law the family ledger system. Income on the left page, expenses on the right. The goal is spending less than income every month. Surplus goes into savings for land purchase or business startup. A daughter-in-law who tracks spending carefully and finds ways to reduce costs gets praised. One who overspends on unnecessary items or fails to record purchases creates tension. The mother-in-law reviews the ledger monthly. She notices when grocery spending jumps $100 in 1 month, or when fabric purchases happen twice in 4 weeks. Money management reflects household stewardship. Poor management suggests a wife unprepared for the responsibility of running a home and eventually raising children. Extended family. Sunday dinners with the husband's siblings happen twice per month. These meals reveal family dynamics and social positioning. The mother-in-law watches how her daughter-in-law interacts with sisters-in-law, whether she offers to help with dishes without being asked. If she brings a dish that complements the meal rather than duplicates what others brought. How she responds when a sister-in-law makes a subtle criticism about her cooking or cleaning standards. An Amish family with 6 married children means 6 different households with 6 different standards. The new wife occupies the lowest position initially. She is the most recent addition. She has the least experience. She defers to older sisters-in-law in conversation and work distribution. The mother-in-law expects this deference. A daughter-in-law who challenges an older sister-in-law or tries to assert equal standing too quickly creates family friction. One who observes the hierarchy and waits her turn earns gradual acceptance. These Sunday dinners also include the extended family evaluating the new addition. Aunts watch how she disciplines children if any nieces or nephews are present. Uncles notice whether she serves her husband first or sits down before ensuring everyone has food. Grandmothers comment on her dress length and head covering style. Every Sunday dinner is a performance evaluation. The mother-in-law hears all the feedback during the following week. Positive comments get shared, Negative observations get addressed privately. Holiday preparation. Thanksgiving and Christmas reveal hosting standards at the highest level. An Amish Thanksgiving dinner for extended family means cooking for 30 to 50 people. The mother-in-law and daughter-in-law work together for 3 days of preparation. Tuesday involves baking 12 pies. Apple, pumpkin, pecan, cherry. Wednesday focuses on side dishes. Mashed potatoes for 40 people require 20 pounds of potatoes. Stuffing uses 16 loaves of bread. Green bean casserole needs 8 pounds of beans. Cranberry sauce comes from canned cranberries, not fresh. Rolls get baked fresh Thursday morning. 36 rolls minimum. The turkey weighs 22 to 28 pounds and roasts for 5 hours. The daughter-in-law learns timing. When to start the turkey so it finishes by noon. How to coordinate 4 burners and an oven to have everything hot simultaneously. The mother-in-law manages the coordination the first year. She assigns tasks. She checks progress. She corrects mistakes before they become disasters. A daughter-in-law who can manage 3 dishes simultaneously while keeping the kitchen clean impresses everyone. One who creates chaos or burns a dish gets remembered. Christmas involves similar preparation but adds cookie baking. 15 dozen cookies in 6 varieties. Sugar cookies, snickerdoodles, molasses cookies, peanut butter blossoms, chocolate chip, oatmeal raisin. The cookies get distributed to neighbors and visiting family. A new wife who produces consistent, attractive cookies demonstrates competence. One whose cookies burn or spread too thin shows lack of attention to detail. Holiday hosting establishes reputation within the wider family circle and church district. Winter skills. Winter shifts household work indoors. The mother-in-law teaches sewing, quilting, and mending during November through March. An Amish wife needs to produce all household clothing. A man requires 4 work shirts annually, 2 pairs of work pants, 1 church suit every 2 years. Sunday shirts. Everyday dresses for the wife take 1 full day to sew. Church dresses require more careful construction. Children's clothing gets sewn as the family grows. The mother-in-law watches the daughter-in-law's sewing precision. Straight seams matter. Even hems matter. Buttons sewn securely so they do not fall off after 2 washes. A new wife who can sew a man's shirt in 6 hours meets expectations. One who takes 2 days or produces crooked seams needs significant instruction. Quilting happens in winter months for practical reasons and social reasons. Quilts provide necessary bedding. A household needs 8 to 10 quilts for winter. Quilting also builds community connections. Weekly quilting circles bring women together. The mother-in-law brings her daughter-in-law to these circles. The older women evaluate the younger woman's stitching. They notice if her stitches are too large or uneven. They comment if her color choices clash. A daughter-in-law who quilts well earns invitations to help with other projects. One whose work appears sloppy gets excluded from higher status quilting projects. Mending happens constantly. Torn pants from farm work, ripped dresses from garden work, worn-out socks. The daughter-in-law who keeps everyone's clothing in good repair without being reminded shows household management ability. One who lets mending pile up for weeks creates visible evidence of poor domestic skills. The first year of an Amish marriage functions as an extended apprenticeship. The mother-in-law serves as the primary teacher and evaluator. Some daughters-in-law arrive with strong domestic skills from their own mothers. They transition smoothly. They master the new household's specific methods within 3 months. They earn autonomy by the first harvest season. Their mothers-in-law speak well of them to other women in the community. These successful transitions often happen when the daughter-in-law came from a similar church district with comparable standards. Other daughters-in-law struggle. They came from less conservative districts where standards were lower. Or they grew up in smaller families where domestic workload was lighter. Or they married at 18 with limited experience. These women face a harder first year. Their mothers-in-law provide more correction. Their mistakes get noticed by extended family. Their standing in the community starts lower. Most adapt within 18 months. A few never fully meet expectations and carry a reputation as less capable wives. The evaluation never truly ends. Even after 5 years of marriage, the mother-in-law observes. She watches how grandchildren get raised,